Should see some attendees start popping up in the next few seconds. Usually takes a few seconds to click in. There we go. Hey, Danielle. Danielle's with us. That's great. Good to see Danielle there. I know there's a few more that are, there we go. There's some, they're just clicking in now. I'm seeing the names pop up. Mark, good to have you there. John, thanks for being on. I'm going to get started slowly. I usually start with a couple soft questions. So Danielle, I don't think she's seen one of our web chats yet, but we start with a couple soft questions to allow everybody else's computers time to log on. So it's always fun. Great news. I'm so excited to do this, John. So for everyone out there, my name's Chris. I'm with Remax Center City Realty Brokerage Limited. Today, we are going to do a quick web chat with one of my favorite people, someone who's got me back on the road when I tell you, I have been hurting something fierce. His name is John Smallwood. He is the owner and main touch base at 360 Health Group on Commissioners Road here in Byron. A lot of people know it as a former Starbucks location. So it's a significant landmark in Byron for sure. John, let's ask you this while we're waiting for everyone to show up here. Coffee or tea?
100% coffee. I think tea is an absolutely vile beverage. It tastes, it's just awful.
Fair enough. No comfort in tea whatsoever. Like I said, so are you like a straight black coffee?
100% black coffee.
That's the way I take my coffee for sure. I do the black coffee.
I just like the taste of the bean. I don't like cream. I don't like milk, sugar. Gross.
Are you snobby as I am? Do you have a favorite bean? Now this is really serious.
No, I'm not that big a connoisseur of coffee. Okay. I like anything Arabica is good, but that's okay. I'm not a snob of coffee. I just like the flavor.
If you get a chance to try Sumatra, I haven't had anyone that hasn't loved it. There's no aftertaste.
I have not had Sumatra, anything from Sumatran coffee since I haven't been to Starbucks since this whole thing is shut down. Since this has shut down my
none of us can afford to go there anymore. This is
and I can't afford to go there. The $250 per day is just when you lose the revenue that I've lost, it's not really an option.
Fair enough. Fair enough. We'll try and get you some grinds. So what are you watching on YouTube? What are you watching on TV? It doesn't have to be YouTube.
Honestly, I loved Waco. I don't know if you've seen Waco on Netflix.
No, I remember.
It's a docudrama. It's a docuseries. It's really, really well done. Okay. I don't know if you remember the whole Waco, the Branch Davidians, David Koresh back in I think 1993 or 4.
I do, yeah.
And it was all about he's such a cult leader. It's just he's an awful guy. You know, everything the government did was right. And this was written by two different people, the head negotiator for the FBI and one of the guys that got out of the compound after the fire. So it was from 2 points. It was really well done, and I learned a ton about it. And I got to say, it didn't make me like the state's government ATF department at all.
Okay.
And the other one, I was a huge basketball fan as a kid, and am now again. But I'm The Last Dance, Michael Jordan's The Last Dance.
Second person in a row on my web chat to pick that.
It's so good. It's really well done. Michael Jordan is completely down to earth in it, and you get to see this a completely different side of basketball. Back then, there was no social media. There was nothing. You watch a game if you wanted to watch a game, and you know that was it. You didn't see anything else besides that. So it was really interesting to see it all behind the scenes.
Okay. So I think if Danielle's having any issues with the tech, I just got a notice from her.
No, I think she paused The Last Dance to come on here.
Oh, okay, I see. Well, I'm glad that she did that to come on here. Thank you for that. That was good. See, I like the comments. I like the interaction. And I was on one of these where they didn't have it set up with panelists. It wasn't mine. I was watching, but they had it set up that everyone's video cameras came on. So I just blocked my video camera, but some people didn't grasp that. And there were people, I don't think they realized the video camera's on them, just judging by some of the things that they did. And I thought, I want to make sure there's no possible way for that accident to happen. So that's why we do with the panelist view and then the other link. So,
well, one of my favorite videos on one of the viral videos that has come out since this whole thing was when Zoom first came around. And I mean, beginning of March, I had never heard of Zoom. And then all of a sudden everyone's using Zoom. And then there was this video going around of this 16-person call. Everyone's on it. And then all of a sudden you see this woman walking, she's on Zoom on her phone, she's walking down, you can see the hallway going by, then she plops it down on the floor, and you can see that she's in her bathroom, but she puts it on the floor so she can still see the screen. She's standing there in front of it, she's taking her pants off, she sits down at the toilet, and everyone in the group is like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Finally, after about 10 seconds, she realizes that she's getting filmed going to the bathroom, and she suddenly jumps off the toilet, and she's then off the call. It was priceless.
Worst nightmare. I am so thrilled that we set it up so that
keep my butt on this chair. I'm not going to the bathroom during this call, I promise.
We should have that as a disclaimer on YouTube. We'll put that up. Like, all right, let's go to work here real quick. John, tell us about who you are. I mean, you're John Smallwood, owner of 360. I always got 360 Health Group and
360 Health Group here in small town Byron.
Yes. Good place.
Basically,
So.
What's that?
I grew up in Byron. It's a good place.
I love Byron. I didn't grow up here. I'm a Newfoundlander. I grew up in the Rock. Nice. I'm from the Rock, boy. No one knows that about me, boy, but if you look at my last name, it's Smallwood. And so the former premier of Newfoundland, Joey Smallwood, was my father's great uncle.
Oh, there you go.
So came here in 2000 after I graduated from physio school, and I did all my training in Nova Scotia. Okay. Came here because my girlfriend was going to Althouse College, and we thought we'd be here for 2 years, and I ended up getting a great job. And basically in 2010, I started up my own practice, and 2018, I decided I had had enough of that location, and Starbucks had just decided to move. So I decided to take over the lease, or not take over the lease. I happened to be the lucky guy. There were about 15 of us that wanted this place. I got the lease, and we've been running this clinic in here for the past 2 years. And I got to say the revenue of the past month and a half has been pretty atrocious, but
we're it's figure that out. And we were talking about it a little bit today. So to fill everybody in, typically in the first wave of people that are allowed to go back to work, physio is coming right up in there. It's so important for so many different reasons. And I hope that we touch all those on the web chat. And we don't want to take too long on the web chat. And it was so fun talking about TV shows and everything. So I feel like I want to keep a fairly brisk pace to get you through all that, but it is important. People are going to be coming back to you. The way that swimming has been cut out of my workout schedule, I've tried to make up for that with extra running and extra biking, which has just resulted in extra knee pain. So I'm sure you'll be seeing me.
Yeah, but absolutely. I mean, it's priceless just sitting in your neighborhood at 4 or 5 o'clock every afternoon, and the number of people that are out walking, running, pushing strollers, way more than you would see on a regular basis. But it's really all we can do. Right? We can't go to gyms. We can't go to swimming pools. We can't go to personal training. We can't do anything. There's no hockey anymore. There's no organized activity. So basically, if you have a bike, you can bike. If you have feet, you can walk or run, and that's it. And the number of people that have been developing issues because you go from this sedentary lifestyle to, man, let's go for a walk every day, which is fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic. But it's unfortunate the physio is shut down. Now, there is no way we could be open right now with the social distancing guidelines, which is physio, this is a bit of a side note, physio is deemed essential. But I think we're the only essential business that's not operating because we, as a collective, agreed that there's no way you can do it and be socially conscious. So as a business owner, it was the most fiscally irresponsible thing I've ever had to do. But the most socially responsible thing was to shut down this clinic back on March the 17th, St. Patty's Day.
A Harvard Business Review will follow it up and tell you that in the long run, maybe not in the short run, but in the long run, doing the socially responsible thing tends to be the most fiscally responsible thing that you can end up doing. Mm-hmm. It just might not seem like it in the short run. And
short-term pain for long-term gain. Because, I mean, it was one of those things. We could have stayed open, but the issue being every other physio clinic would have gone together and completely tried to sabotage us in the long run. We would have just been completely beat up in the future. So we had to do it, and we didn't have any problem making that decision. It was an easy decision to make.
Sure. I mean, there are still things that can be done to help out, and we'll touch on that. So while your clinic is shut down, there's some virtual stuff, and I want to get to that a little bit later. I don't want anyone to miss out on that. When you are open, 360 Health Group, fantastic. It's not just physio.
Nope.
Tell the viewers, just give them a rough idea of some of the things that you actually offer.
Yeah, so basically we're a small clinic by a lot of standards. We have 3 physiotherapists, myself and 2 others, and 5 or 6 massage therapists on any given day. So we basically are all one-on-one physiotherapy. When I first moved here in 2000, I started working at a clinic that was strictly one-on-one physiotherapy. I've never had assistants. I've never done huge modalities. It was all manual therapy, one-on-one with kick-ass exercise programs.
Right.
So basically, we really see good results because you literally get the entire focus of the physiotherapist the entire appointment. So yeah, we have massage therapy. We treat athletes. We treat weekend warriors, professional athletes. We treat senior citizens. We treat kids. We treat people that have slipped and fall. We treat workplace injuries. We basically, if you have pain in your body, we can likely get rid of it through massage and physiotherapy.
Sure. I'm not gonna, I don't want to harp too much on the stuff, but some of the things you've done for me that I really, really liked is you did a type of acupuncture where you flick a switch and you pretty much give me like a deep tissue shock somewhere in there. Despite the initial feeling where I honestly thought I urinated myself in front of Sue. It was actually fantastic. It really loosened up the muscles. So that's going on YouTube, by the way. So someone's going to do a search of my name, and I hope Sue sees that. But that was a terrific treatment, by the way. I really like that one. And there's a shockwave therapy you do too, which is I think my wife has really liked that one she's had some tight IT bands. And it's kind of like getting a little miniature sledgehammer. It just kind of taps away at it, and
basically a jackhammer to the tissue. Yeah, it works really well.
Does not sound appealing. I can honestly say if any of the people that are attending right now are, if they're listening to that and they've never had it done, they're probably like, that sounds terrible. It's not. It's wonderful.
It's not terrible. It's terrible on small joints, but for the rest of the little fingertips and things like that, it really doesn't feel good. But we see a lot of great results from it, so we like to do it.
No, it's really helped out a lot. Like I've gone into your clinic where my leg has been so stiff I can't really walk normally, and left and said I think I could go for a run. And I've listened to your advice where you've said wait till tomorrow, please. But just give it a few hours. But it really makes it's a terrific change. And I mean, there are programs that you have to adapt to, right? Too, if you're taking up walking, you're probably using some muscles they haven't used before. Maybe some of the supporting muscles are a little bit weaker. So it's great to have a program from a physiotherapist which helps you strengthen up the supporting muscles so that you don't get injured going forward, right?
Absolutely.
So what I've tried to do is make sure that I start with the small bones of my foot and work my way up my leg and just make sure I get everything on its own. That's
the body is designed to move. The unfortunate part is we spend so much time doing what we're doing, sitting in front of a computer, that it just starts to lose some strength, some mobility. We put the feet in heels, we put the feet in these big, huge shoes, and then we expect that we're just going to be able to go out, put our shoes on, and run 10K, and we don't have the mobility, but most importantly, we never have the strength. And strength is one of those things that you need to build up. Strength is the easy, and strengthening is also what a lot of people don't assume this, because we used to see these bodybuilders walking around like this, unable to move.
Right.
Good strength programs are the best way to actually increase flexibility in a muscle. So you can stretch till you're blue in the face. Strengthening is going to get it there so much faster. And so by finding out how people move, we can basically really give them a fantastic tailored program for them to get it so they can move pain-free, because that's the goal in life.
And you do. And I think for anyone who's watching that, just because I know you, John, I know you had that little smirk because you're laughing, because you're thinking, I'm saying this, but Chris is my patient that I continually tell, please do more strength training. And it's my least favorite thing to do. And I do it, but it's my least favorite. I would rather just go run for 2 hours or bike for 2 hours or swim for 2 hours than do 30 minutes of weight training.
You just keep doing that. You just keep doing that. And then you just got to keep coming to see us.
Exactly.
The irony about the whole situation is people think, okay, I'm running for 2 hours.
Right.
Cycling. Why would I need to strengthen my legs? It's not going to, do anything more. I'm already running. They're going to get strong. And the opposite of that is as you do crazy amounts of exercise like that, even small amounts, the muscles tend to fatigue more. The small little tiny muscles fatigue too much. So the little muscles in the glute, the little muscles in the feet, they get too tired, especially if you're using them incorrectly. So they don't actually recover well. So the longer you run, 1 week, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, the weaker those muscles get. So strengthening is such a huge component to keeping moving. And I'm not just talking running. I know that's what we're running and cycling right here. It's the same with everything. It's the same with climbing. It's the same with lifting weights. You have to have good muscular stability in order to likely be pain-free.
It makes you faster. Just for the record, I can always tell if my strength training's up, I am running further and I'm running faster and I feel better doing it. But
exactly. And that's the easiest way we get kids to strengthen, because kids always want to be faster. Or any runner or any athlete who's competing. You tell them, okay, the pain's going to go away if you do these exercises. They might do a couple here or there.
Sure.
But if you tell them, okay, the pain's going to go away, but more importantly, you're actually going to become a better runner and you'll be faster because of it, because you can actually apply more force to the ground. They're like, oh, wow, that's fantastic. And then all of a sudden, the accountability goes way up and patients love it.
It's true. No, it's now, do you sort of like watch or will you look at a patient's sort of their tracking for their physical stuff, like their Strava or their Garmin, or I think the other one is Sonata, whatever the watch. Anyway.
Yeah. I don't really look at that. I basically just, we talk a lot. Whenever a patient's in a room, we talk a lot. And I literally we can get a sense of how they're doing based on, we look for markers. How fast are you running? How many kilometers how many minutes per kilometer? What's your distance? What's your average speed? All of these type of things are things we can look at. Typically, if someone wants to give me, sometimes people literally hand a pile full of data at me and I'll go through it. I'll look at anything. If you want me to look at something, I will absolutely look at it. It's not something that I typically say, you got to get signed up on Strava so we can document it. But, with different athletes, different types of things, we look at things slightly differently. Yeah.
No, it's great. So, I that's one of the things that I love about those apps, right? On the Strava app, I can see what I'm doing and it graphs it for me, right? So,
and that's the ability to actually figure out and assess as opposed to guess, right? It's one of these climbing companies that I've been working with that developed this. Basically, it's a strain gauge to see exactly how hard you're pulling on a certain edge size. You can get an actual objective measure, so you can see, okay, yeah, you're pulling, 0.8% of your body weight on a 20 mil ledge. So and then 3 weeks later, okay, you're pulling 1.2%. So you can literally gain things. And the same thing with the running apps.
Sure.
You can literally see and assess exact objective measures by, hey, I did, a 50-minute 10K run 3 weeks ago, and today I did a 48. My knee pain is less and I'm going faster. Or my knee pain is the same, but I'm going faster. These are two, both are gains, right? The one thing we don't want to see is knee pain is worse and my time is worse. That's an issue. But yes, objective measures are the goals. We love those things in physio.
Yeah. And I think athletes today, it's so available, right? Some of the tech that we have, you didn't get even if you were a pro athlete 10 years ago, maybe even 5 years ago. No. And now, we've got our heart rate and we can see where we're training at. It's kind of different, but I want to keep it talking about the clinic because you can just lose me. We'll start talking about triathlon training, and Mark will be interested because he's got everything charted just as I do, and I can see him in the panel there. But we sort of talked like everybody can come in and use you.
Mhm.
What about insurance? Are you able to direct bill insurance? How does that?
Yeah, we direct bill for every single company that allows us to direct bill.
Okay.
Sometimes certain plans, if you work for the federal government, for some reason Sun Life doesn't allow us to direct bill. But if your company allows it, we direct bill for you. Sometimes they pay a portion, sometimes they pay all. So we go above and beyond. It's better for us and it's better for the patient. If the patient keeps forgetting to submit their receipts, they're going to have this massive bill eventually, and then all of a sudden they're going to be like, I'm not going to physio because I never get it. It costs me too much money. So it's better for us. It's better for them. It's always a easier thing. We've got someone who does that pretty much full time. So it takes. It's a lot easier coming for an appointment if you know you actually don't have to pay for it too.
I would.
And it's not the payment. Everyone has a Visa or credit card. It's the fact that no one likes submitting invoices.
Fair enough. That I get that too. So we sort of talked about all those things. What I really want to hit on right here and now is that you guys have effectively had to shut down the clinic. But I know there's some stuff going on. So talk to me what you've done to adapt to the COVID-19 social distancing requirements, restrictions, and those sorts of things. What are you doing right now?
Yeah. So again, we were a hands-on clinic. So once they said you can't touch people, we were out of a job for the most part. So for the first 4 weeks of COVID-19, we had literally zero revenue, all expenses and zero revenue. So we're like, okay, this is not working quite as well as it should. So we decided to look further into virtual appointments. So we've got a couple different apps that we can do a virtual appointment through. We either use our Clinic Master, our practice management software, or we use Zoom, just like we are right now.
Right.
And literally, we set up an appointment. We email you a link and click on the appointment. It was the hard part for me to start this was, I'm a hands-on person. I'm a face-to-face person. Why would I want to do this? Why would anyone want to do anything online? And then I started to realize people want to get better, and people have questions, and people talking to someone that knows what they're doing. And so there's 3 of us here that are doing them, the 3 physios, just talking to someone and saying, and actually getting the reassurance that, hey, we can basically tell you everything that we could do in a treatment room, but now we don't have to contact. So basically we start off with, we do the full subjective history, just like we would if we were face-to-face. So we talk about the history, what you do, what activities you do, where the pain is, all of the subjective things, when it bothers you, how many kids you have. We'll ask virtually everything. And then we basically go and take that, and then this would have been completely different even 5 years ago because the technology wasn't as good. But with cameras now, we can see everything. And basically we'd get you to do a movement pattern. We'd get you to pull on something. We'd start to see what's moving. We can do full gait analysis.
I'll go with either one. I'm not, I'm going on 54 days since I've been able to get a haircut. The last thing I'm doing is criticizing anyone right now, but no, I'm jealous. Look at it.
I've had this haircut since September the 5th, 1993. So I was thinking of COVID for a long time. I'm like, one day, and I had the ugliest hair you could ever imagine, Chris. So I just shaved it all off in 1993. It was a Frosh Week dare, and everyone was like, John, you look so much better. And I literally have not had hair since. It was me, people doing fundraisers for cancer, raising money for cancer patients, and skinheads. We were the demographics. Everyone looked at me or gave me sympathy. It was quite odd back then. But now look at me.
There you go. You prepped it, right? It's funny because I had a hair appointment coming up, and it obviously got canceled, and I thought, oh, it'll be okay, and
great.
54 days later, I'm going, man.
A nice little coif you got going there.
I know. My wife keeps saying she wants to cut it. She wants to give it a shot, and I can't.
You gotta let her. But so either way, get back to the analysis.
Let's do that. So, let's not talk about my hair. Yeah.
Let's talk about the analysis.
Yeah.
So we can literally, with the way the computers are set up, watch exactly how you move. We can do full movement patterns. We can do one-legged balance. We can see how your strength is. We can get you to go through a whole bunch of different exercises and basically gauge, this is weak, this is weak, this is not moving well. It's amazing, actually. I was completely against these things when I started them. And then I started to think, these are actually good. And going forward after this, I guarantee we will still be doing some, especially to friends and family far away, or people that I've literally had someone fly in from Alberta once about their hip to see me. And I told them, no, you have osteoarthritis. They were 100% right. You need a replacement. He's like, but I flew in all this way to see you. I'm like, you're the one person that probably shouldn't have flown in to see me. But down the road, like going forward, we'll be able to do this virtually because we can see everything. And then just by giving you a detailed instruction on how to do the exercises, sure, I can't take your foot and pop your foot and crack it back into place. But we can really do a good thing to get things moving on that. So the virtual appointments are actually doing well. So if anyone does have any interest in them, they can contact us and we can send you an invite, and it all works as the exact same way as a normal physio visit, just we don't actually say hello in person.
Yeah, but so you started, right? And we talked about that physio is one of the first things to get open up in full. So maybe
it's a good transition getting back into it, I think. I'm hoping we open on May 19th.
Okay.
There's absolutely nothing been said that that's going to be the case, but that's what I'm hoping.
Sure.
But until then, we're just going to keep doing this. It's not paying the bills, but it's definitely, it's better than going nuts, not being able to help. Helping is why we do this, and
absolutely
being able to help some people, even virtually, is it makes us actually feel like we're doing something normal again.
And which is a great feeling in the first place. And I think you're going to have a lot of the same phone calls, right? Because there's a lot of, you can run canes on any given day at 2 p.m. and maybe see 4 people. Since COVID-19 runs, you're going to see 500 people. I mean, it's canes has just become a big, long parade. And
I don't even get it. Like the one I'm going by, not Warbler Woods, the Sifton Bog. The entire thing is a boardwalk. I don't know why the government hasn't shut that down. Just put a lock on the fence.
Right.
I mean, it's impossible to stay 6 feet away from someone when you're on a 3-foot boardwalk. But whatever.
It's funny, right? Because normally I'd go to Canes to be alone. Like, it's quiet. Yeah. Canes is a terrific trail, and it's quiet. And I understand that, maybe not as many people are at work. But I do sometimes, if I'm fortunate enough to be able to take, an hour out, for a lunch break, instead of maybe eating, I'll run out and do a run. But since this has started, I'm like, no, I'll just, I'll just run on the road.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, it's a good time. People are moving, people are keeping active. It's a great thing, but it's just not, it's
going to fill up your clinic, right? Because they're doing the same repetitive motions, and it's going to be a lot of the same appointments. And there's a lot, and it's great to see. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of people. Like, I only took up running 2 years ago. I'm not a veteran at it by any means, but there's a lot of people that are picking up running now, and I hope it sticks, right? And
absolutely, it's a fantastic exercise. It's so good for you. The running gives you arthritis. No, it doesn't.
No,
running does not give you arthritis. The impact on joints is actually fantastic. Running incorrectly can give you arthritis.
Fair enough.
Running alone will not give you arthritis. Exactly. Running's not bad for your feet. It's not bad for your knees. Running is fantastic. Keep running.
It's all really, I can tell you a million different good things about it, right? It's really good for your just thought process and all those sorts of things. So it's been great. You will see all of them coming up. Maybe they don't start with the acupuncture, or maybe they don't start with the shockwave, but you got to start somewhere anyway. So it's probably a really great thing for you to have the virtual appointments and get them started and sort of get them rolling. So that's an option that's there. And when you go back to, go ahead.
No, exactly. You're spot on.
And then once you go back to the full stuff, we're going to be in there for the sport massages, because I have never been so stiff. Like, I don't know if maybe going to the pool and swimming kind of helps shake it out in the morning, because it's
absolutely. And because you're able to do different things, and anyone who's just doing something different now is going to feel different. It's just the way the body goes. It's change.
I miss it. I miss the morning swim terribly, and I'm so stiff. And I've tried to, like we were talking about it before, I've tried to sort of step up the running and the biking, and it's just resulted in really tired legs.
But it's also one of those things, just not to go on along about it, but it's one of those things that on a normal day before we were shut into our house, we would be up and about moving almost all day long.
It's true.
Right? My day would be basically from 7 a.m. until 11 o'clock. And you wouldn't be sitting down. I've read 5 books since this started.
Right.
That's just sitting down doing nothing. I'm still being active, but I'm sitting down a lot more than I typically would. I'm not walking. I'm not seeing 16 patients a day and then walking the length of the clinic between them. So we sit a lot more than we used to. So we're going to stiffen up. Tendons will have activity, and tendons that don't get activity get really stiff.
It makes perfect sense. And if it sounds, and just for someone that maybe doesn't know you, it sounds like, oh, I'm just walking the clinic. Listen, I've seen you. You walk up and down that hallway a million times in a day. Like, it's just you're wearing out those New Balances in a hurry. So you're putting the mileages on, right? And
I got all step count. Kinds of mileage on my 1400s.
Yeah, always the 1400s. I know
that's my shoe.
It's awesome. Okay, so we're doing the virtual assessments. We're still moving forward on that. So there are some services open. So if somebody is discomfort, if somebody's feeling a little bit of pain, I want them to know they can reach out to you, right? So your email is physio@360healthgroup.ca. Your website's really easy to find, 360healthgroup.ca. It's 360 is the numbers, just like the logo behind you. If someone needs to give you a call, there it is. I love it. 519-601-9613. They can reach out to you. What else? Was there anything else that we wanted to?
I mean, the other thing, we have tons of information on our Instagram page. Instagram. Okay. Every profession seems to have a social media of preference, and for physios, it seems to be Instagram. And Instagram, because we can literally show exercises right then, and we can do a write-up about it. So we don't click the link to articles. So Instagram works well for physios. So even if you just check out our Instagram page, and there's tons of stuff for your feet, there's tons of stuff for strengthening, running tips, things like that. That's a great way to reach us, and all our contact information as well.
Okay, so hit it up. What's your Instagram? What's your Instagram kind of like?
You could probably guess it. 360 Health Group.
360 Health Group on Instagram. It's a good way to get you.
We got in early. We had a clinic that no one liked the name of, apparently, so we got to have everything we wanted. Was our that being said, when I was picking my name for the clinic, I would go to every single name I'd come up with. I'd have to go www. whatever other name I was coming up with, and if I couldn't have the clinic name as the website, I wasn't taking that name as a clinic. So
no, it makes sense.
It's so much easier to find you if you have your actual name everywhere.
I would agree. No, 360 is a great name, so I would never be hard on that. I like the name 360. It's easy to remember. Health Group, it's good because you're very encompassing. It's a lot more. If anyone is feeling any discomfort, any soreness, whether it's, and I know, you know what, I have to be really, apparently a very centered person. Think of myself only, but there's other sports as well. And I really feel bad because we didn't touch them, but if someone is at horseback riding and they've got some stiffness or soreness, or they're rock climbing, sounds like that one's a big for, any of those things, if there is some sort of chronic pain that's getting in the way of that sport, give John a call, guys. Like, make sure you get on the phone, look him up on Instagram, because you made a world of difference, right? Like, I literally was struggling walking and came into your clinic and walked out of your clinic and went, wow, that was really good. So, it's certainly worthwhile. It's a lot of fun, adds a lot more fun to the sport. Before we go, I want to make sure we open.
It's way nicer to take part in your activity when it doesn't hurt.
I know.
Right? So if we can make it so it doesn't hurt, you're going to have way more fun doing it, and you're going to be more successful at it. And the irony is, when was the last time your oil changes got paid for? Virtually no one gets their oil changes paid for, but they do them all the time. Maintenance for your body is just as important, but most of us have benefits. So it's free maintenance. We just have to take care of it. Go book an appointment with a physiotherapist and chat about your oil change. What do you need? What brake work do you need done? Right. And it is an odd thing. People will spend $800 on their brakes for their car. No benefits will ever cover that. You tell them it's going to take $800 to fix their shoulder, and they're like,
Right. No,
it's a free resource for so many people, or partially free at least. So it makes life better if you're not in pain.
I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, if you don't have your health, what do you have? We actually have a question, so this is exciting. It says, do you work with the older body over 65 with arthritis who isn't an athlete but would like to stay as active as possible with the least amount of pain? And are you cost effective for someone with no insurance? So two questions, same person. So it's kind of a question with the follow up. Good questions. I know you've got good answers. You only take it.
Chris, we see what's her name?
Liz.
Liz. Hi, Liz. We see every demographic. I haven't had anyone over 100 yet, but we've had some very old people.
We're trying. We got to get you there.
We want some old people. We see everyone over. We see everyone from babies all the way up, and some people that have chronic pain and have never done a day of activity in their life. Some people that are completely arthritic. Arthritic doesn't mean you're doomed to have pain for the rest of your life. It just means right now you have pain, and the stronger you get, the better you can be. So yes, we will see everyone. We are not, we don't just love athletes. We love making people better. So every single demographic, if you're willing to put in the legwork, we're willing to have you. Typically, as far as pricing goes, for most people, it's 110 for an assessment and 70 for a follow-up. But there always are options that we can talk about for those that don't have benefits, because yeah, it is expensive if you don't have benefits. If we devalue it too much, people tend to take advantage of it. So we don't devalue it all the way, but and people just don't seem to be as appreciative if we make it zero for some reason. So we typically do discount on a case by case basis, need by need basis. For anyone who doesn't have benefits.
I just want to add, because I don't have benefits. On the first day when I got the assessment, I think this is really important to point in there. I walked into your clinic and I had no idea what I was getting into. I just knew that I couldn't walk. So I guess I limped in your clinic. I hopped in, and I paid the 110 assessment fee. But during that appointment, you guys looked at me. We walked up and down the hallway. You passed me about 7 times in the 1400s, and doing laps, right? But you also did.
Probably do. I don't work out some patients.
Yeah, you're just flying up and down there. But I was wondering, why don't you move the photocopier to the front of the store instead of printing it out in the. Anyways, so let's go to this. On my first appointment, the assessment.
Right there.
Well, you never use that one. You sit at that computer and you print it on the back. But let's go back to this. I want to follow this $110 assessment fee. I came in, we walked, we did some exercises, we looked at sort of the differences between my right side and my left side. And I mean, you could say, well, I could tell you the difference. My left side doesn't hurt and my right side does. But there was some detailed assessment work that was done, and there was a lot of like protractors, and there was a lot of angles, and we're looking at flexibility. And you think, okay, well, that's a lot. It was a lot for $100 or 110 or whatever it was. But you followed that up. In that appointment, you also started with the first acupuncture therapy, the shock acupuncture, which is, I know it sounds like something that you would not find in a happy place, but it is fantastic. The funny story is it's
like a scientific Dr. Ho. It's far better resource.
My daughters came with me on that one. So I have for those of you that don't know, we're just getting into the question period, and this is just a really fun part for me anyway. But I have an 8-year-old, a 5-year-old, and at the time, I mean, Saoirse was just, well, she had to be like maybe 6 months old, if that. She's a year and a half now, but the girls were in the appointment with me, and they were applying the acupuncture, and it was coming into my hip, so the needles go right in, and I wasn't thinking anything of it because I've had acupuncture before. It really doesn't hurt at all. It sounds like it should, but it is absolutely 100% painless. And I happened to just glance over and look at my daughter. She's 5 now.
They actually just find their way through.
It really is a beautiful thing. But I looked at my middle daughter, who was like 4 years old at the time, and the look on her face, I wish I had it documented. I mean, she was absolutely horrified. It was, and it's a great treatment, right? You just like it sounds so much worse than it is. And my 4-year-old was just, I mean, she's probably scarred for life that she saw that. But as soon as you flick the switch on, there's a bit of a like, whoa, what just happened? And then all of a sudden you can literally feel the muscles relax. And it's so amazing to have that feeling of the relaxing. And then even in this same appointment, but after that, there were some other areas around the knee, and don't get me wrong, not directly on the kneecap, but on the muscle surrounding it. We did some of that shockwave therapy, which hammered those out. And there was some stretching. And then I left with like these rubber bands, and I left all taped up. And I thought, wow, there was a lot that happened in that first appointment.
Yeah. It is we like to think we have good value for our money. Virtually all physiotherapy clinics in London charge the same amount of money. Most of them will see you for about, 5 to 10 minutes per treatment. And then the rest you're just doing exercises in a gym. You're with us the whole time. So it is, we like to give patients as much time as we can. We treat you well, we think, anyway, pretty decent feedback. So it's one of those things that, yeah, the prices are fair. And again, when was the last time you went to a mechanic for your car and the bill was less than $100? Virtually never. Fair enough. And if your car completely, I make the analogy to cars all the time. It's the biggest sales tactic I've got. But if basically,
it's out there now. This is going on YouTube.
It's out there now. But if you totally don't take care of your car and you run it into the ground, guess what? You can buy a new car. Who cares? If you run your shoulder or your knee completely into the ground, you can get a new shoulder and it's free, but it really sucks. And a new car and a new pair of brakes on a car are way better than the old ones. A new knee is not as good as your old one. It is, our body does not like to have metal in it. Our body does not like to have surgery. So if you can maintain your body with a nominal fee, it's amazing how much better your car runs.
Sure. It's a good analogy. Real quick here, before we go, what are some of the things you do for someone that's got the arthritis? Because the question was very specific about that. So I thought that's a good thing. What are some of the treatments that you do? I imagine it's not necessarily strength training.
Virtually the only difference with, virtually everyone who is 65 or older, what are the stats? I think it's 40% of people over 37 have knee degeneration. Okay. So we can look at 10 different x-rays of 10 different people. There is no way to determine how bad that person's pain is based on that x-ray or MRI. Okay. If you can have someone that has a horrible knee, degeneration everywhere, and no pain. You can also have someone that has absolutely no degeneration, yet they can't even walk. So arthritis is one of those things that is starting to become less of an issue. It's still a huge issue. I'm not trying to say it's not an issue.
Okay.
But the degeneration and change up to a point isn't something we're actually that concerned with. We just care about function, and we're going to treat you the same way we're going to treat anyone who's trying to walk. We're going to get the muscles around it supporting the knee better. Just because the knee is degenerative doesn't mean it has to have pain. That being said, if you've got a degenerative knee, it's probably never going to feel like it was when you were 20. But to make it fully functional is there's a, depending on how far it's gone, pretty decent chance, sorry. And so we strengthening is the biggest thing. There's always going to be some stretching. Strengthening is the biggest thing. That doesn't mean we're going to put you on big heavy weights and make you, do complete squats. But we're going to test that leg, and we're going to make it as strong as we possibly can.
No, the rubber bands. You guys do a lot of the rubber bands, and I have found them to be very helpful. So
it completely depends. There's so many different ways to skin a cat, is the proverbial way they used to say. So we use bands for resistance. We use isometrics for resistance. We use just movement patterns. Do this movement, but make sure you do it well. That will strengthen as well. But so bands, there's so many different ways that we can strengthen, but bands are typically a good way to start. Very low impact. You can make them so they target the right muscle group and go from there. It completely depends on the sport and the athletic ability of the patient, how we prescribe exercise.
Sure. And athleticism, and again, because I tend to focus a little bit too much on maybe what I do, but that could just mean walking, right? It could just mean, if your sport is an average stroll at 6:30 in the afternoon, let's try and get you there. Let's try and make strolls comfortable and fun, and it is for everyone. And the more you're moving, it's harder to stop something in motion, right? So let's
motion is lotion. Motion keeps you moving.
I absolutely couldn't agree more.
Joints and muscles and tendons love motion. Walking is so good. Anyone who doesn't do anything, just start walking. That's the best bet. Best bit of takeaway. If you're doing nothing, start with a walking program.
Perfect.
You're going to feel way better. You've got back pain, start a walking program. You've got, it's walking is the best way for those that haven't done much to get moving again.
Beautiful. That you know what? I hope that's a good takeaway for everybody. Just before I go, if there's anyone else that has any questions, shoot them out now. We're happy to try and answer them live. If someone maybe is a little bit more shy, they want to send an email off, physio@360healthgroup.ca, email questions there, or reach out to me. I'm pretty sure you can find me just about everywhere. I now have a Facebook page against my better judgment. So you can look up Christopher Boll, Remax Center City Realty Brokerage. You can email me, christopher.boll, that's B-O-L, B as in Bob, O-L, @gmail.com. And I will be happy to put you in touch with John Smallwood from 360 Health Group if you're looking to get in touch with him. Any questions we can answer. Again, John is on the West End in Byron, great spot, very, very close with Bowler and Commissioners, right? Do I have the intersections right? Just kind of right off there.
Yes, you do.
Yes, Bowler. I should know. I grew up there. So
right by the public library. We've got our own parking lot and everything.
Exactly. So feel free to reach out to John with any questions you guys have, or if you are not feeling perfectly smooth, by all means, please do reach out. Get feeling better. Enjoy it. And John, thank you so much for being here. And I'm really glad to hear that you guys are doing some virtual appointments. You're getting people moving as much as you can. And I'm sure in the next few weeks, we're going to have all the other fun treatments come back as well. So it is a good time.
That's what we're hoping for, Chris. Guys, thank you all for attending, guys. It's been fun. Had a good chat, and hopefully I helped you out in some way or another.
It's been great. We had great attendance, and couldn't thank everybody anymore for being here. It's fantastic to have you here, and thank you for doing this, John. I know I'll be seeing you again soon, but I want to make sure we're very grateful to have you on, and thanks so much. It was great.
It's been a lot of fun. Thank you so much for having me.
You
Take
too.
care, guys.
All right. Bye for now.